Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast.
Hi.
Today, we have a very special guest, Mrs.
Stacey.
Oh, Mrs.
Diaz, Apodaca.
Oh, yeah. What do I call you? What's the right thing? Is Mrs. okay?
I mean, I've never really been asked that, but yeah, sure.
Just as long as it's
Mrs.
not ma'am.
works. Yeah.
Or senora. Don't call her
Yeah.
senora.
What about just the?
The Stacey Diaz. Wait, is it Stacey Diaz Apodaca or Stacey Diaz? Oh, yeah, it is.
Stacey Diaz, Apodaca. Yes.
But your middle name's Kim, right?
Yes.
I learned that this week.
Is Apodaca? Is that your last name?
Yeah. So,
oh, okay. I thought that was just like something like.
No, girl. You
Something
think I just
Spanish.
picked a random
Yeah, I thought you just
set of words?
I thought it. Yes.
No. In Mexico, everybody has two last names.
Yeah, the mom and the dad.
I grew up with them and up until I was 13. So I decided to embrace them, and I'm Stacey Diaz, Apodaca.
Okay, well, the rest of the roster here is myself, Jessica.
Myself, Tiffany.
Bose.
Our favorite down there on the end, our little firecracker, Bo.
Stop.
I just want to suck up to her right now.
What the fuck?
I'm just showing you some love, you know?
Okay.
Showing you
I,
some
you
love.
know I have
Take it.
problems taking love.
Take
I
it,
have
bitch.
problems
Take
with-
it.
I-
We're working through some personal stuff. We're all trying to give each other love. But anyways, today I thought it would be a great idea to talk about getting back with your ex. Is that a good idea? Or is there ever an instance where that's okay? Am I allowed to? Or
Girl,
what
are you
do
trying
I
to
do?
tell us something?
No, I'm not.
I know.
Trying to work something out.
Trying to break the news of sometime.
No. So, I mean, have any of you guys ever considered or tried getting back with an ex?
So, me and this motherfucker, he was, oh my God, my worst ex of all time. God,
And that's the one you decided to keep getting back with?
yes.
It's always that way.
Always.
Always.
And like, there was a point, and I remember my mom never let me forget this, where she told me it was after our fourth breakup.
Wow.
It was one
Out
of
of 8?
those.
How long did you guys last when each
We didn't
breakup?
even last a year.
Oh, I mean,
Throughout the
shit.
whole relationship?
Yes, we did not
Oh,
even last a
damn.
year. Broke up, got back together, broke up, got back together. And I remember crying to my mom, and I told her, oh my God, it's like arguing with myself.
Yeah.
And it was the worst. I had picked somebody that was so similar to me. Like, they didn't compliment me, they didn't do anything. It's like, because he was like me, it felt comfortable. But when two people are too similar, it's just not, it's actually really not good, or at least in my experience, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of the times you keep going back to the ex, not because he's so similar to you or because, you know, it's special, but because we're so used to toxicity. And the toxic
It's comfortable.
trait, it's comfort, you know? It said a lot. I mean, we're jumping real deep real soon, but it said very
Take
often.
us, girl.
Yeah, I'm taking you there. It said very often that whichever way you grew up, like your parents, you know, whatever you saw in your parents is what you're used to.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we keep getting back with that toxic ex because even if we're not aware of it, he or she reminds us of that familiarity we had in our parents. So you try to fix the narrative with this new person that your parents couldn't work out. Kind of like if my parents got divorced because my dad was a piece of shit, I'm going to go get a guy that's just like him to try and fix it and fix the narrative that my mom couldn't fix.
Interesting.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
I think also too there's that the comfort in the not toxicity, because you think I deserve this.
Yeah,
You think I'm a bad
yes.
person. I deserve this. And so them hurting you is okay because
Yep.
you genuinely believe that that's what you deserve.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that may not be conscious though.
Yeah,
because
for sure it's
I've
not.
been
Absolutely, it's not at
I've been in
all.
those cyclical kind of like Groundhog Day relationships where
Yeah.
like you wake up and it's the same old bullshit, and then you put up with it and you start all over and do it all over again.
Yeah.
I in the middle of those types, I never felt like I deserved it, but looking back, it's like, oh, you subconsciously thought that's what
Yeah.
you deserve because
Yeah.
otherwise you wouldn't have stayed. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
even if you don't realize it, honey, something is holding you back, making you think you deserve that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even
But yeah, sometimes it's straight up abuse.
Yeah.
And you don't label it as abuse. You just don't, you know?
I think I've even had situations where I've heard one of my friends be like, well, my mom put up with it, so I should be just as much of a woman. If not, then how am I not? Like, how am I letting my family down? Or what are my parents going to say? Or what are my Tios Diaz over there back in Mexico going to say, where they're like miles away, but you're trying to live up to their standards
Yeah.
to not fail them, you know? It's really
that
fucked up to
definitely
think
probably
about.
comes in when you're in an older relationship, like mid-20s and going into your 30s and stuff. But
Oh my
like
God, yes,
for
bitch.
girls that are maybe still in high school or early college, like what kind of experiences can we share for them? Because I feel like there's probably a ton of girls right now, or even guys listening or watching to this podcast that are thinking right now, I just want to text my ex. I just want to make it all go away. I want it to go back to the way it was. Like, what do we want to say to them? Because I feel so bad for you guys right now that are probably going through that. Like, what's your best?
Do you actually? I
Advice.
mean, you just got out of a breakup. Are you going through that?
She's like, can we talk to me?
I was trying to.
She's like, high school girls, but me, really, you guys.
I'm trying to get the advice for myself. No.
So sometimes you feel like you want to hit him up.
Sometimes, yeah. Like when the breakup first happened, I was like, thank God. Like I was
Right.
really like so done because it was 5 years. It was so long, and I was just so sick of his shit. But now,
No shade, no tea.
Yeah, a lot of shade actually,
And a lot of tea.
Yeah. But right now, like I guess maybe it's the holidays playing tricks on me.
Yeah,
right.
Everyone can relate to that.
Yeah.
Everyone can relate to that.
And I'm just thinking like, oh, I saw him the other day. He's lost weight. He's
Wow.
kind of looking. He's looking like he looks like he did when we first met, instead of the fat guy that he became.
I just want to point out, like, all of us see Joe, and none of us are thinking, like, oh, he looks so good, bitch. It's only you.
Actually, what I'm thinking is
I'm
people are
sorry.
grabbing clips right now and sending them to Joe.
What's up, Joe?
No, I mean, I could probably get him back if I really wanted to. I don't know. Okay, that was fucked
Bro.
up. I'm sorry. I don't know.
He's like thumbing down.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck that
He's
podcast.
like gonna report the
Yo,
video.
top comment right now is gonna be like the one dislike is Joe.
Joe's gonna have like 20 like spam accounts, and he's just gonna start talking shit about me. Yeah, so no, I think it's just a part of the process of breaking up, and sometimes you don't want to face the process and like the emotional kind of journey that you have to go through when you finally, you know, realize that a person's not for you. It's easy to want to like keep things the same.
yeah.
People
It's more
don't like
comfortable. It's
change.
easier.
It is. It's so much easier to stay in a relationship that's not going well, and probably will never go well, because we're adapted to keeping things the same. We like stability, and that, you know, that's really helping me right now. I'm like, anything that I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, it's just for stability.
Yeah.
It's really not, because you know when you're in the middle of that breakup and you fucking hate that person, you're like, I can't wait to be done with your ass. Like, why a month later has that changed? Really,
Yeah.
why? It's not because they've changed or you've changed or the circumstances of the relationship has changed. It's just because now you're sad because you don't know what's coming.
Well, you feel confused
Yeah.
because to use your relationship as an example, 5 years ago, you were a completely different person.
yeah, I was.
And, you know, by year 1, year 2, year 3, you've really changed. And by year 5, you're like a whole new person.
Absolutely.
It comes with age and the experiences. So this is your first year being this version of Jess.
Yeah.
And now you're navigating it all alone. You don't have that support system that you had, or just that familiarity.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary because it is easier to go back to the way things were. It's easy to go back to what was comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's like, you know, I think that's been a frequent problem in my life, not only in breakups that I only recently kind of made it through, was looking for that comfort, wanting to just be okay in that comfort. That's why sometimes when you are in like an abusive relationship, and I don't mean like, you know, like hardcore, I mean like even just emotionally abusive, everything starts out good and then it slowly gets more emotionally abusive.
You don't even realize it.
Yeah, it's just a little tiny percentage each day until finally you're basically at rock bottom, but it's comfortable.
Yeah.
Because you walk down these stairs together, and now you're at the bottom of the stairs, and it feels good. You don't want to walk back up alone.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's
that was
very-
my metaphor.
Right.
Boom.
I was
Nice.
even going to say, I think a lot of times it doesn't even have to get to the point of a bad relationship where you're at quote unquote rock bottom. It gets to the point where how many people can relate? Like, you're like, well, he's not even that bad. He is actually a good man.
Yeah.
He's faithful. He's a hard worker. I mean, Joe was all of those
Joe
things,
is everything.
right?
Joe is everything positive
Right.
that you could think.
And so you think to yourself, isn't it just easier to stay with this
Yeah.
person? Like, why do I have to start all over again? He's not that bad. Yes, he's annoying, but they're all annoying. So honestly, they are.
Shade and tea.
Yep. So But like, it just kind of makes you wonder, like, why do I have to start all over with
Yeah.
someone else?
And it's like everyone's gonna have something wrong. I'll just stay where I'm at.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
honestly like what keeps a lot of people in the place, because then like that idea of like no matter who you're with, you're gonna have
Yep.
problems with.
with the baggage.
Right. Because everyone has baggage.
So-
Literally everyone.
So my question is, what made you leave? Or for you guys, what made you finally say, like, not for those relationships where we obviously say like you have to leave, like you're getting beat up, you're getting emotionally abused, but for the ones that were like not that bad, but you deserve a little better, what makes you finally say, you know what, I can't be back with this person no matter how much I try?
Do you guys want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead, start
You go
out.
ahead.
We'll start there and move over here.
Because
For
I'm
me,
thinking,
and like
girl.
I haven't even really processed the answer yet, so I think I'm just gonna kind of like talk it out. Is that like I was so defeated. Like after a while, I felt my own life force being sucked away.
Yeah.
My day was no longer mine. I was a slave to the arguments that were inevitable. Is it gonna start at 11 a.m. or is it gonna start at 8 p.m.? I mean, daily. And I couldn't get anything done. I couldn't even navigate my own thoughts. And I couldn't imagine waking up and doing this every day.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get up and I want to exercise, or I want to go to my friend's house and not have to leave because I'm getting yelled at because I did something wrong again.
Yeah.
I felt like my own life was being taken away from me, and I had to go. And, you know, each time he would come back, we broke up 4 or 5 times. I mean, holy shit. This guy, there was one time that I broke up with him and I was like, I'm free.
Yeah.
I am free. And I remember sitting down on my computer and saying, I knew for a fact that I was done.
Yeah.
Fucking 2 hours later, this guy calls me. I'm not kidding. Y'all about to laugh. And he said, I just got shot. What? and he told me I went to go sell this Xbox in Norfolk, and the guy robbed me and shot me.
Oh,
and I believed
my
it.
God.
Oh, he was lying.
I believed it.
He was
And he was
lying.
like, my mom's coming. I'm on my way to the hospital. And we were like 22. And, well, he was just shot. I have to go back.
You should have been like, bitch,
no.
call
I can't
911.
leave him. I mean, and this was crazy, but he never let me visit him in the hospital, blah, blah, blah.
Damn.
But he had my attention again, and we were back together. And then we dated for another 2 months until on New Year's. He got mad at me because we were on this trolley. We had taken a vacation together, gotten this hotel room together, and we were drinking, and we were on this trolley headed somewhere. And a guy on the trolley who was with his like wife or girlfriend asked me a question. I responded, and I made a joke with him because I was like very personable. He was so fucking pissed. The argument spiraled out of control. I wanted to go home. And so he intentionally went up to this brick wall and started hitting his elbow on the wall
What a
and
psycho.
basically like broke his elbow so that I couldn't leave because
Whoa.
he basically told me I had to take care of him. And I
Wow.
was so beat down by that point.
That is abuse.
Damn.
100%.
He didn't have to hit me. He
No,
just had
bitch.
to hurt himself.
And that's mental
Yeah.
abuse.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. And he told me that I couldn't leave, and I stayed there that night.
Yeah.
You know, because I felt like I had to take care of him, but I think also he took advantage of the fact that I felt like I had purpose. I felt like I had to take care
Yeah.
of him. This is
Yeah.
so fucked up.
No.
It is.
But like I felt like I had to take care of him, and I had to like nurse him back to like
Your little
health kind of.
project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What made you finally leave then?
he called me mommy.
Oh,
fuck
that's
no.
the guy?
Yeah.
The mommy guy?
Bitch, I'm out.
That
Damn.
was the last straw because that shit broke the spell. I
Yeah.
was like, something is wrong here.
Yeah.
But this guy, he was really, really attractive.
Yeah.
He was popular. He had money. He didn't talk a whole lot, but when he talked, he was cool. Like everyone thought this guy was fucking cool.
Bro, he called you mommy.
Damn.
What the fuck?
That guy
and not in a
was-
sexy way.
That guy
Like,
was crazy. I mean, fucking insane.
He had mommy
Wow.
issues.
Yeah,
100%.
but you know what's funny is like what's really big there is there was blatant abuse, and I mean
Yeah.
like I just told you guys some of like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
cornerstones, blatant abuse, and I fucking didn't see it, or I didn't
Yeah.
jump on it. Either I thought I deserved it, or I felt like it gave me purpose, something. And the thing that snapped me out of it when I was like, "Are you fucking your mom?" Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Jeez.
why would you say
And
that?
if you think
know?
about it,
Yeah.
just based off what you told us, like him hurting himself to get your attention, him saying like, "Hey, I'm at the hospital to get your attention." Those are all things that a kid would do. Like, oh, like I
Exactly.
fell, like I'm crying, take care of me.
God,
Yeah, emotionally
Yeah.
stunted. So he had all this facade, all these clothes,
Yeah.
money, had this nice ass Lexus, buy me anything, do whatever, like whatever. He would dress me. I remember he took me shopping one time. I spent like a G, and in Virginia, you spent a G
That's a
on me
lot.
shopping. That's a fucking lot.
Yeah.
And so all of that looked so good, but underneath it, he was a child,
Yeah,
a
literally.
literal child.
Yeah,
That's
that's crazy.
That's mine.
Damn. I think for me, Joe has been the only relationship I've had that was healthy enough, not to.
Yeah.
There was things that weren't healthy about it, but it was a generally healthy relationship. And the first time where I broke up and didn't fight to get it back, I think.
Yeah.
It's been the first time, and it's crazy because it's been the most healthy, most. I guess it's helped my life more than anything being with him. It's changed my life in very positive ways being with him, but it's strange because like this most beneficial relationship of my life I was able to walk away from so much easier than all of the destructive ones, and that's strange.
Do you
At
feel
least
like
you just grew out of all that.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you just
really
matured.
did.
like now you see like, okay, I could get this that is Joe that is like so great for me, but I know there's something else, like
Yeah.
something missing.
I think the love that he did give me, it definitely helped me to love myself, and then to realize that like I don't want to say that I could do better than Joe, but I think it's just that like I need to do what's more suited to me.
Yeah.
And I think
Like a
it's the
puzzle
same for
piece.
him. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
like I don't think either of us it's like, oh, I can do so much better. It's just like we need to find the matching person, and we were able to come to terms with that. And so that's what made this breakup a lot easier than any other one I've ever had.
Yeah.
But a lot of my past ones were just so dramatic, and like I thought I
Yeah.
was going to die. Like I can't,
Same.
I
Wow.
would go back and forth just for a whole year trying to get back with the same guy, breaking up and getting back together. And
Yeah.
it's just, it wastes so much time of your life.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's a complete waste because
Yep.
overall you end up learning from it and growing from it. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a waste, but it does look like a waste, especially if it's like years of like the same bullshit and it's like a cycle.
Well,
of-
also like if you're in college or you're like trying to like further your career, or like as you're still growing up and like still trying to get to the point where you're like a stable adult, but you're wasting time instead of in college, like doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're like spending all this time on this dude who's at the end of the day, like he's not going to take care of you. He's not going to be your husband. He's just wasting all of your time.
I guess to kind of say that point, like in my mind the first thought was like, well, I have time. Like I'll make time, because when I was in that situation, like I was working, I was in school, but I was so in love. I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like honestly. And it's so sad because you're wasting your time in this relationship. But I can say that had I not gone through that relationship, that was like what I can kind of say, like I can relate to what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be who I am today. And I
true.
wouldn't have learned the lessons that I learned. And when I was going through it, it was very short lived, like yours was too. But it was so intense that
intense.
it was almost like, okay, here's this little packet, but it's so full of love that when I open it, I know it's gonna fucking explode on my face, but
That's
I don't
right.
care.
No,
I don't care, because the 3 days that I'm with him, like let's say after we broke up and we got back together, the 3 days that I see him are so full of like, I don't want to say love. Like in my mind, I thought it was love at the time, but it was like excitement,
Was it
passion.
passion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like hot and cold. Like you didn't
Yeah.
know what was going on. That high, I would literally come home and cry to my sister and just be like, I love him so much. And my sister, she's my best friend, and she would be like, is this worth it to you? Like,
Yeah.
look at you right now. Like, you're literally crying. Like, you're this bad bitch who fucking praises to the internet, like, they should love themselves. And look at how this guy has you. Like, do you want to see him again? And I'd be like, yes, I love him, And it wasn't until I had enough, and it was years, you guys. Like, I had boyfriends in between this guy, like, and I was treated right, but there was something holding me there, almost like a string that I
Yeah.
couldn't cut. I literally had to go to therapy.
Yeah.
And,
It gets
and
rough.
I went to therapy and I was like, what the fuck do I do? Like, I don't know what to do. And I remember my therapist, she was like, she was like, why did you walk in here today? And I was like, well, I just wanted to tell you that I love him, you know? And then she's like, well, why did you make why did you make something different today? What made you walk in through the door?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, bitch. Like, I'm just barely here, like barely breathing.
Just shut up and take my money and listen.
Yeah.
And
Well,
she was like, you walked in here because you're ready to let him go.
right.
She's like, and literally we did this exercise and I was like, I don't want to let him go though. And she's like, you're in here, you're going to let him go, you know? So a lot of times, like when you say things like, well, I was ready to let him go. Like I wanted to let him go because I knew it's not it's what's best for me. Like there's some of us in high school, in college, in our late 20s that are like, well, I didn't want to, but I had to because it was no longer healthy for me.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Well, speaking of love, we got to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Third Love. Yeah. I'm actually wearing my Third Love right now and I would show you, but that's inappropriate. But anyway, so Third Love is a great new bra that I recently got, and it honestly fits me so perfect, and that's because I took the Fit Finder quiz that finds your perfect fit in 60 seconds, and they also show you different breast shape and sizes and like different types. So I found out that I have like a bell shape breast, which I didn't know that before taking this.
Now everyone
this trip.
can imagine your
Yeah,
booty.
let's all close our eyes.
Just imagine them. And so, like I said, Third Love helps you find and identify your breast size and shape and finds the styles that fit your body. Returns and exchanges are completely free and they're super easy because they deliver it to your house. And if they don't fit you and you want to return it, you can put it in the same box and send it back. But I promise you, you're not going to be doing that because it's a perfect fit. Like I legit wear this bra every day. And I have 2 Third Love bras, but this one that I'm wearing in particular is my favorite. So anyway, Third Love knows that there's a perfect bra for everyone. So right now they are offering our listeners 15% off your first order. So go to thirdlove.com/BTCH now to find your perfect fitting bra and get 15% off your first purchase. That's thirdlove.com/BTCH for 15% off today. Yeah.
Our next sponsor is
Yeah.
Care Of. Ladies, would you like to tell me a little bit about Care Of?
Look, y'all, it's time to get back into a healthy routine, and I want you to do it in the most low-maintenance way possible. Go online to the Care Of website, fill out this survey about what are you concerned about. Is it mood? Is it your sleep? Is it your hair? Is it your skin? Answer the questions, and Care Of will send you this really cute package. It's like a little box that you can just set up, and you pull out your packages each morning. Mine say, "Hi, Bose."
Oh.
Yeah,
It
mine
gives
say
me-
Tiff.
Yeah,
I love it.
B12, calcium. I mean, whatever they set me up with. I don't know all these ingredients. I don't know what all this stuff is. I was like, fix this, and Cara was like, girl, I got you.
Yep.
I also can't express enough how high quality the ingredients are.
Exactly.
I always used to take a multivitamin each day, make it super simple. But when I started getting this customized set, I decided to try it, and I felt different. I
Yeah.
actually felt different.
So did I. I got more energy.
Bro, after my second pack, I was like, was I missing some nutrients? I genuinely felt, I think because B12 is in my package, I felt a lot sharper mentally. They're really fantastic. My second and third order, I paid for. Please give me more. Please
Yeah.
do.
How do we
Holla
get
at us.
those vitamins, Bose? Tell us how we
That's
get it.
right.
But yeah, so it's super easy and convenient. For 50% off of your first Care Of order, go to takecareof.com and enter the code BTCH50. Again, for 50% off. Y'all know I love a good deal.
Let me write
That's
it down.
half off,
Yeah,
man.
go write that down. 50% off your. I did not use the code.
Wow.
I didn't use the code.
Wow.
Come on, girl.
Wow.
You better put that.
You guys better make sure you put the code
Yeah,
in. Save
please.
half.
Yes,
half
likes to
off.
get
save
money
money
for free.
and also show us support. Again, 50% off your first order of Care Of. Go to takecareof.com and enter the code BTCH50.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
I didn't use the code.
Wow.
Was it 20% before or 50? Has it always been 50? All right. Well, welcome back to I'm One Dumb Bitch.
Well, so I know we've been super kind of negative with getting back with your ex. Do you guys feel like there's any point in time where getting back with your ex is okay, could potentially be healthy, could lead to a great turnout? Because I know so many guys and gals are probably thinking, but this is my situation so different. Like mine's
Yeah.
different than yours.
No, bitch, it's
I
not.
promise you, we're gonna work it
No,
out.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You know what? It could be because I've actually heard, and I feel like this has happened maybe 2 times in just the past couple of months, of stories where somebody broke up or got a divorce in their 20s, and in their 40s they came back together.
Damn,
Wow.
bitch. Do we got that time?
means they, that means they
I've
just
heard
weren't
about
ready
that
for
time.
each other at that age.
Exactly.
They weren't
It means
mature
that
enough.
There was some deep connection, and you guys had to go out there, explore, see what was out there, and you already know what that person is like. And as you get older, I think that we actually almost even have the ability to strip away that negative and remember what that good was.
Yeah.
And when you see them again, literally 10 to 15 years later, like, I think you know. But I feel like that's probably not the answer that y'all were looking for. You're like, should I get back with it
Bitch,
right
I went
now?
to therapy. I do not need to be hearing this.
So on that point, I guess the thing is that I think most of us might agree if there is a chance of getting back with your ex, it probably shouldn't be the next month.
Anytime
No.
In the
soon.
next
No,
6
definitely
months.
not.
Probably
You have to
minimum,
grow.
I would say you need to wait a year, kind of grow,
Dude, I'm
grow
thinking
into yourself.
5 years.
Yeah, maybe a year, couple years, maybe 5 years. Like
I think that the point that happens, because I don't want anyone thinking like, well, I'm in this situation and it worked out. There's always an exception to the rule.
Yeah, of course.
So if you're the exception to the rule and it worked out for you, congratulations. That's not the majority of people.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that I don't like to tell people like, oh, it's going to work out in the future, because you're stealing yourself the opportunity to truly fall in love with someone in the process. And you're like thinking ahead and telling to yourself like, oh, I just got to wait till I'm 40.
Yeah.
I got to wait till I'm 35. Like, I'm just going to be with this guy for now and not waste my time. But I know that the toxic man will come back for me, you know? So I think there's yes, it can happen, but it almost has to happen organically where you don't even plan it. We can sit
You
here and be
can't
like,
force
Rose,
it.
in 20 years,
You'll get back together. It's like it's got to fall back into place. You have to go through a metamorphosis as a person. You change, they change, and then you have to still kind of fall back together. But you don't want to be thinking 10 years out, they'll be back.
Yeah, and it really is that whole like once you have that time apart and you're able to, like you said, go through your own metamorphosis, both of you go through that. And then if you guys do reconvene, it needs to be like a square one, like clean slate. Like don't carry the baggage from your relationship.
you become a new person.
Yeah, because then it's just not even fair to approach that new experience with the same person while you're still carrying everything else from the past, because you're never going to get over that at that point, and you're just going to end up falling back in the same spot. So,
you know, I think it also is really important to remember that it takes a lot to get to the point where you guys break up. It
should, but for some people, like they get in one argument and they're like, "We're broken up."
Oh, well, then
they should just not be
good
in.
night.
Yeah, they should
Good
just
night.
not be in relationships. Then that means they're not ready to even
well, I
deal
went through
with
that a lot.
A breakup should never be a threat. It should
I've
never be a
dealt with
threat.
Yeah, your relationship should have security enough for you, where you feel safe,
Yeah.
and where they feel safe, and it should not be dangling over your head.
Exactly. And if you're a person that has been in a relationship, or you have been that person that has used a breakup as a threat, you're damaging your relationship every single time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, on a
decaying.
massive level. But for people that aren't doing that, when you actually go through a breakup, you're thinking it. You're talking to people. You're letting people know what's up. It takes a lot to utter those words. I think we should take a break. So when that finally does happen, you have to give yourself credit that it took a lot to get to this point. And it's like, do you really want to take that all back in a month just for that comfort and security that we spoke about?
Yeah.
Or do you want to spread your wings and get out there and see what's up?
Yeah.
True.
That's tough. It's
It,
tough.
and that's what I was going to say,
it's
because you're
so
talking
hard.
to like the grown version of me, but if you were talking to 23, 24-year-old me,
right.
I would be like, yes, bitch, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
like, I'm
exactly.
going back.
Ooh, well, what do we say? What do we say to our younger selves to get through that? Or
I think personally, if I could talk to like younger Stacey D, which, you know, like I do these exercises where I write to myself, you know, all I can do is forgive her, because how does she know any better? She was doing the best she could.
She wasn't gonna listen.
Yeah, and it's the
Yeah.
same thing we could tell everybody watching right now who is in the same situation. You're gonna go through whatever you have to go through, and you just can't think to like, oh, I'm gonna avoid pain. Like I watched those
Yeah.
girls, so now I'm not gonna go through that because
Yeah.
they went through it. You're on your own journey, and you kind of just have to know that it'll pass. if you work towards it passing. Because there's people who get like stuck in this cycle for years, years, like 50-year-old women who are with the same like fuckboy old man now, and they still think he's like the greatest thing ever, you know? So,
but I really am a strong believer of like whatever you are going through, you're meant to go through that because it's meant to make you a stronger person at the end of the day, and it's meant to make you learn from it. So no matter what you're going through, like you said, Stacey, like it will pass. You just have to be strong enough to get yourself through it. Yeah, and once you're out on the other end, you're gonna look back and you're gonna say, "Look, that made me stronger."
What did you just bitch?
No, I just said like yes, bitch. Because
but I mean, was that an ad lib like an Amigos song? Tiff is like saying something.
She's my hype man.
Cheering on. It's like bitch. I need some. Yes.
Can we
get
put
you
a beat behind that?
I felt it in my soul because we're here right now and we're telling you like, you know what? Yeah, you're going to go through it. Don't worry. It happens. You'll come out alive. But bitch, when you're going through it, oh my God, it feels like you're
eternal.
not gonna go through it. Like it feels like a roller coaster, and you don't like roller coasters.
And there's like no tracks. Like you think you're just sliding, and then you're just gonna fly off and die. Like,
and it feels like it's lasting forever, and it feels like why is this happening to me? Why? And it's like, don't worry, just trust in the universe.
Are you in that situation, Jess? That
right
you
now?
Feel like, oh fuck, like I'm just in this roller coaster and it just keeps going down?
Not now. No, not at all. I mean, I definitely felt that in my younger relationships though. Like I just felt like if he leaves me, it's over. Like I'm never going to find someone else that like clicks with me. I'm never going to find someone that like that brings this passion out of me. Like everyone else is boring and lame and like, you know, and I don't feel it now at all.
Imagine being in those situations and then having a kid.
Yeah, I think about that all the time with you, too.
Because, girl, I've been through it.
Yeah, like, I think like when you're trying to tell someone like, oh, you shouldn't get back with your ex or whatever, but then there's complications of family and children and stuff, like the advice and the leeway gets a little bit more tough because they have to think not only about themselves, but the child.
What would you say, Tiff? I mean, you had a whole ass kid.
Like, what if you got divorced?
A whole ass kid.
She does. He's big as fuck now, too.
No, I know. He's about to be 12. But yeah, man, it was the hardest thing ever because like with me and his dad, for example, like we broke up when Isaac was 9 months old, but I was trying to get out of that relationship a lot sooner than that. And it was just really tough because back then, like I was dirt poor. Like I was just so broke. I actually had to survive off of welfare in order to like stand on my own 2 feet. And it was the toughest thing ever. But in the end, like I just saw the way, like the situation, I saw the type of household that we were creating for him. And I just really saw like, I'm not going to be happy. Isaac's not going to be happy. He's not happy like his dad. And it's just like, why are we going to all be in this situation just for convenience? And ultimately, like I just reached my breaking point because it was like on and off between me and him, and especially because of the fact that we had a kid. So it was the struggles, man. And we were both so young and so immature. But it just took a lot to really walk away and just find my own happiness with my son. I mean, it wasn't even like I was able to fully be by myself a long time either, because at the time, my best friend at the time, who was a guy, we ended up like finding comfort in each other because he had gone through a breakup around the same time too. And so it kind of, I didn't even have a chance to really see like grow myself as just a single like woman. I didn't even give myself that chance because right immediately after Isaac's dad, like about a month or two of a buffer time, that's when me and my ex ended up getting together, and that relationship lasted 3 years to the point where we got engaged. And it really got tough because he really would use Isaac against me and like really manipulate me to continue to be with him, because he kind of would say like, well, who's going to love you? You're a single mom. Like who else is going to take you and your son? And so it was really rough. But for that relationship, it just got even, honestly, like for me, it just got to a point where I detached emotionally, where I no longer was in love with that person. And like the more I saw them manipulating me, the more angry I would get. And I'm just like, no, you're not going to win this. And yeah, sure, you proposed to me in public and I felt like I was cornered and I couldn't say no. And so I said yes. And like, I just got myself deeper and deeper in a situation I didn't want to be in. But in the end, like I like it got so bad that I was just like, I can't be with you. I can't marry you. I'm gonna move to San Diego to get away from you because like I keep getting manipulated to continue to be with you, and it was just the most toxic thing ever. And I finally, like, there was just one day when I was talking on the phone with my aunt who lives in San Diego, and she was like, Mika, what are you doing? Like, do you really want to marry this guy? Like, look how unhappy you are. Like, you want your son, like, look at the relationship you left with your son's dad, and like you're in a similar situation now. Like, girl, when are you gonna learn your lesson, kind of thing. And I was just like, Thea, you're right, I can't do this. I can't. And so like there was this one situation where just seeing the way he reacted to that particular situation, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, right? Like, or what is it?
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, that's it. Like, I cannot, this is not going to work, no matter how much I want to fool myself and no matter how comfortable the situation is. And I just can't do this. And I gotta think about myself and think
so you
about
went
my son's
all the
life.
way through it to then find the strength. So like it took a long time,
Right.
and you went through so much, but eventually you found your strength. But one thing I'm thinking is like bringing up your auntie calling you, like, so we've all been the person like kind of getting back with their ex too, but then like dealing with your friends and like your close friends or your close family, like you see them going through this and you like want to give them help. It's kind of like, how do we help someone that doesn't seem to be able to help themselves? Or like, how do you broach that subject? How do you like help someone? Stacey, you look like you got something to say, girl.
I wish I could have my facial expressions. I just feel so in the moment. I forget we're actually filming.
It says, no, that happens to me all the time. Something will happen and I'm like, the person's continuing to speak, but I'm like, or like, I'll think about a situation. I'll be like, all the time, girl.
I guess, okay, so what I was going to say, like, before even that question is, like, hearing all of you speak, all of you got to the point where you went through it, and then one day you just were like, you know what? Fuck it, I've had enough. I'm out. Yeah, hasta aquí. Like, that's it. Up until this line, I'm not crossing that line, you know? So when you ask that question, it's very interesting because it's very close to my heart. I guess it showed in my face, right? So I'm a very honest friend, and I obviously love my friends and I want the best for them. Now, what I think is the best for someone, and like with you, what I think is the best for you and what you think is the best for yourself, maybe two different things. So I can try to tell you, let's pretend with the Joe situation, if you were trying to get back with him, but I didn't think that was a good idea. And I told you, look, Jess, he's this, he's that. You were this way, you were that way. I don't think it's the right thing. And you were trying to convince me otherwise. There's literally nothing we can do as your friends until you get to that breaking point. And that is so heartbreaking.
Is it worth still having those hard conversations with your friends though? Because I think part of that kind of helps them get to the point where they can see it. Even if they don't do it right away and they start to become an asshole where they keep asking for advice and not taking it. But it's part of the step, right?
Yeah.
Like, asshole.
I kind of forgot, like the same guy I was talking about, the crazy guy. I forgot, like, the mommy thing was a turning point, but it turned the gear in my head and it reminded me of something in that relationship. So there was a point where I was home and I think we had kind of broken up. I had broken up with him after that, and he came to my house, and I lived with my parents at the time, and he was banging on the door. I told my little stepsister, I was like, don't answer the door. I called my mom and my dad. I was like, he's here, he's outside, he's freaking out.
Dude, what a crackhead.
He started going into our trash can and taking trash out and throwing it everywhere in our front yard and our backyard. He was in the backyard banging on the door, and I had to call my dad, and my dad was like, give me his number. That motherfucker left. He left after that call. But still, I felt something in my heart. Like I felt like I was like, there's even 20% of me, and if he gets that, I could go back. So what I actually ended up doing was I went on Facebook.
You blocked him.
And no, I very publicly said almost everything that he had done to me.
Wow.
Very publicly. And I did it because I realized that I had so much shame. He had hit me once, but it wasn't like that serious. But it was like
it's enough.
Yeah. He had done that. He would call me the N-word. Like
Bitch.
yeah.
Wait, he wasn't black?
No.
And he was calling you the N-word?
Yeah. Yeah. He said he would tell me like that. This is why my mom told me not to date.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. And like I would take that.
On
you know.
site.
Oh my god.
On site.
But here's the thing. Nobody in my life knew this was going on.
Yeah.
I was so ashamed. I didn't tell anybody. I never told anyone because I knew that they would tell me to get out.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to
ready for
listen
that.
for some
Yeah,
reason.
That's true.
And so when everything was said and done, I didn't have anyone close to me anymore because he had isolated me from everyone. I didn't even want to text. Like, I feel like I'm even shrinking while I talk about this.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to text anybody because I felt like everyone was done with me. But that wasn't true. He had isolated me from everyone. And so I literally went on Facebook. I was like 23 and like I needed help so badly. And I literally was like, I'm done. I'm tired of getting cheated on. I'm tired of getting called the N-word. I'm tired. Like I said, like I'm tired of getting slapped or something, but I've really only gotten slapped once. Like, I don't know.
And that's enough.
Well, true.
yeah.
But
Once is
so
enough.
I went really
Still the
public in
truth.
it. And at the end of it, I said, please, everyone help me. Do not let me go back into this relationship. And like I had to, oh my God, I'm finally crying on the podcast.
Aw, where's the cry
I had
glasses?
to do, I feel like it was so bad. And like some people didn't even know who he was. I never said his name. I didn't like tag motherfucker or anything like that. But I felt like I didn't have anyone to turn to. And so I had to ask for people's help to almost guilt me and shame me into not getting back with this guy.
Yeah.
And holy shit, like you don't have to be crazy and put it on Facebook, but you can tell everyone around you. Tell everyone around you so that you don't go
You
back.
find the strength with
kind
your
of like-
community.
it's like because it's embarrassing.
It's like an addiction. It's like you're announcing
Yeah.
your addiction. You know, like
Yeah.
when you're like, my name is Jessica and I'm an alcoholic. Like now you can get that
Oh my God,
help.
thanks, girl. But I can't. I forgot that there's that part of that shame where you're putting
Yeah.
up with this abuse, and I don't know. I really needed help. I really, really needed help. And like, if you also feel like you're hiding this abuse that's happening to you, you have to tell people because the shame and embarrassment of going back will keep you from going back to them.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh no, I cried on the podcast. Wait, am I the first crier?
No.
You're doing great.
This is like a strong cry. dude.
Yeah.
You're
girl.
doing great, bitch. You're a strong bitch.
You're
You
talking
fucking
right.
did
There's
that.
no like
Yeah.
You
wavering
did
voice
that.
or anything.
You did
Yeah.
that.
Talking straight.
Yeah.
Crying
but-
is good for you.
Like, and I actually had a friend pretty recently, but she'd been seeing a guy for 3 weeks, and she was like, "Well, we keep arguing." I was like, "Bitch, it's been 3 weeks," and I asked her,
Not a good sign.
what
Yeah.
were they arguing about? She showed me the text. I said, you need to run.
Yeah.
A, you need to run. And B, you need to tell people because your friends will keep you from going back.
Yeah.
Because there's like this shame that you feel if you get back with them that everyone knows. Everyone knows that you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to do that
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
protect yourself.
I think just to touch up on that, like being the friend, because just hearing you talk like that, like breaks my heart a little bit because we as the friends can get a little bit like, you know, like a lack of patience and be like, just fucking leave him, bitch. Like you're
Yeah.
being stupid. But at the end of the day, I think it's so important if you have a friend who's going through that, like let her know that she's supported, you know,
Right.
because when I've had that friend and I tell her like, I have never said anything behind your back that I will not say to you. I don't think you should be with him, but I'm still here for you when and if shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
And you don't tell them, which it will hit the fan, but you just stay there and you don't tell them like, oh, see, I told you. Like, no, all you
Yeah.
got to do as a friend is be there for that person and
Yeah.
say, I got your back. Like, you're not alone. Because
Right.
no matter how far away that person takes you and you get like distracted and pulled away from the ones you love, like your core group, your girlfriends or whoever you have is going to be there for you. And you should always know that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
But
some people don't maybe feel that because, and I'm watching this show, which is completely unrelated, but it made me think of that is like, if you're that girl that like, when, as soon as they get in a relationship, they kind of just like abandon their
Yeah, bitch,
friends.
you can do that.
Yeah.
Like, and then once it's over, then you're afraid because you've kind of abandoned them and you've grown apart from them. And so
Yeah.
now you're like, well, I guess I just got to get back together with my ex because like
Yeah.
everyone
Oh,
else
yeah.
is gone now. So I feel like as women and men and fellow just humans, like we should be a little bit more accepting of like, okay, she kind of disappeared for like a year, 6 months or whatever,
Yeah.
but like,
Come back.
Like, let's
Yeah.
just be a little bit more open to like, because we know it's hormones that got them in that
Yeah.
situation in the first
Exactly.
place. Like, they didn't mean it, but like, we all need that support system too. So, like, still having an open arm for your friend when they get out of something. Because what if it was actually super abusive, and like you being there as a friend, like even though they abandoned you, could actually like save their life or something.
True.
Like you don't really know until you really know. So
I feel like maybe everyone has had that friend before that like they go into a relationship, they disappear for months, and then when you guys reconnect, she's like, girl, I got some shit to tell you. And it's heavy. It's so heavy. I remember working one time. I worked at a TGI Fridays, and my best friend, I hadn't spoken to her in 5 or 6 months, and she said, hey, can you come outside? And I was like, I can't. I'm working right now. And she came in, and he had dumped soda all over her.
Wow.
What the hell?
Yeah, like he had just like dumped soda all over her, and she like had left his house and drove straight over to my job. And I felt so horrible that at first I was like, oh, I can't come out, because I felt like she had abandoned me.
Yeah.
And then I realized, no, she was being abused and she was being isolated.
You don't know what they're going through.
You gotta like be there for your friends with open arms, because sometimes rather than
always
throwing the advice, they just want you to be there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of needing someone to talk to,
Yeah.
we have a very
we
perfect
got?
sponsor for this. This week we have Talkspace, which is an online therapy product here. They give you a convenient and affordable way to improve your mental health. They'll pair you with one of over 5,000 licensed therapists based on your needs and preferences. Connect with your therapist via text, audio, picture, or video messages the same day you match. Your therapist will message you daily, 5 days a week, no office trips or appointments to schedule. And this is a very affordable option. They give you a month of anytime access for the price of only one in-person therapy session. And it's also secure. Talkspace encrypts and protects your information using bank-level security technology.
It's safe.
It's also very private, confidential support of a dedicated therapist from the privacy of your device, anywhere at any time. We all need help navigating life's ups and downs. Talkspace offers the support you need at an affordable price. Our listeners can get $100 off their first month by using code BTCH at Talkspace.com.
Nice.
Match with a therapist for only a fraction of the price of traditional therapy at Talkspace.com or download the app. Make sure to use the code BTCH and get $100 off your first month. Again, that's Talkspace.com and use the promo code BTCH.
Nice.
I need that.
Did y'all know that you don't have to go to the dentist and get or orthodontist and get metal braces anymore?
Yeah.
From the comfort of your own home, Candid will send you a whole kit to create a mold of your mouth and start getting clear aligners. And y'all, clear aligners work. I don't know if anyone else was kind of skeptical. I was like, how
They do work.
Yeah.
I was like, this ain't gonna work. This is not gonna
Especially
work.
when you're doing it at home. It's like, don't you need to go to an office for this?
How? And it's
yeah.
significantly cheaper. It doesn't require insurance. Take a mold of your mouth and your teeth slowly start to shift. Candid can fix most dental, like most orthodontic
Yeah,
issues.
and treatment could just take only 6 months on average. Like that's pretty fast to fix your teeth.
Go ahead, girl. Get that photo ready smile. Candid's aligners help straighten your teeth faster than traditional wire braces. Treatment just takes 6 months. An experienced orthodontist in your state creates a custom treatment plan. They send you the whole 3D preview so you can see how your teeth are going to look after you're done. And I think that's the most exciting part.
It is, because you
look
actually
at your-
see it change.
You look at your smile and you're like, I don't really like this, but you don't know what's possible. So
Right.
seeing the 3D scan before they even come in is really, really exciting. They're comfortable, removable, and completely invisible. They ship them directly to you, and they cost 65% less than braces.
Nice.
I'm 27, and I did not want to get metal braces again. I had them when I was younger, but my teeth started shifting and had to do what I had to do, completely invisible. And also, with each aligner purchase, Candid donates $25 to Smile Train, who brings safe, 100% free cleft lip and palate treatments to children all around the
that's
globe.
so sweet.
Yeah, that's nice.
Look, y'all, I'm going to have a photo ready smile by the holidays, and you can too. Go to candidco.com/BTCH and use code BTCH to get $75 off. That's candidco.com/BTCH, code BTCH for $75 off.
Candid. co.com/BTCH. Enter code BTCH.
Awesome. Thank you.
And if y'all are skeptical, I'm going to be posting my results when I'm done with treatment in February.
Ooh, nice.
Same girl.
So where were we at? Back to talking about getting back.
I want to
with your
cry
ex.
again. Throw something at me, Stacey. I'm just kidding.
I got you. Okay, so do you want daddy issues or do you want?
Oh yeah, what would cause someone to not be able to just let it go?
Daddy
What's
issues.
what's really behind that?
Bitch, if we knew, like,
Yeah, it doesn't.
none of us.
But let's explore that. I mean,
Yeah.
really, like,
I
so
mean,
this is the first time I've really been able to let a relationship go with such ease. So I'm trying to figure out how I can determine the difference between that and all of these other ones that were so
Honestly, I
painful.
really think it matters on your maturity level and the
Yes.
fact that
Yeah.
like, you know, you've been through so much in your life. You've already, it's because of the fact that you've been through so much, you've already recognized what you need, what you don't need, the signs, like everything that everything that you have been through. That's what I'm saying. Like, guys, no matter what you're going through, the universe throws things at you that it knows that this is what you need. It will
Yes.
prepare you to be stronger, to grow and be more mature at the end of it, because like what you've been going through, Jess, like this last relationship, it really, you grew so much out of it, and that's why it was so easy for you to just be like, oh, you know what, I've reached this level in my life that I know that this is just not what I need, and this is not what you need, Joe, and you know what, this is beautiful, we can split. And
But I wonder
find
though,
it.
like, say I date a new guy and I become extremely infatuated, and then we break up, and like, will that young version of me who was just like, oh my god, I need him in my life, like, is that gonna come back? Like, that's kind of scary to me too. Like, how am I so emotionally stable right now? Will that last? Or like,
I think it only happens when someone triggers what's not fixed.
there we
in
go.
you.
There it is.
Yes, girl.
There it is. That's
so
the one.
My theory is you and Joe, we're going to use them as an example, but everybody can put them to their own selves.
Yeah.
You and Joe are both very mature, and you guys were both like, I think we've kind of got into the station that we needed to in our life. Like, if
Yeah.
life is kind of like a
Train station.
train
Yeah.
station, you've gotten here and you guys are like, all right, we get off here. Like, we've learned what we needed to learn. We're separating our own way. But if you for some reason find someone that triggers you in the right way, in the things that you haven't fixed within yourself, we all have an inner child, and what that inner child asks for, if you meet someone that has the same issues as you and you guys get into the same toxic patterns, then it's when it can get ugly. Because
Yeah.
what if you find someone and you're like, I love him, but he's a cheater, right? And you're like, I can change him, you know? And you, for some reason, you find someone who's not as mature as Joe. And you think to yourself, fuck, how the fuck did I end up here after being in such a healthy relationship?
Yeah.
You know? Because I think the difference is in learning what you want versus what you need.
right.
You
Yeah.
know, once you learn the difference between those two, like, I want that toxicity, I want that excitement, I want that hot and cold.
That's true.
It's fun.
I kind of do still want
It's-
that.
yes, bitch,
Yeah.
yes.
And maybe
But-
that's like
but it
why it was
might
easy to let
be-
it go, because we didn't
True.
have that. Like,
Yeah.
there was no more passion. There was no more fire, no pull, push and pull. Like, it was
Yeah.
just like, okay, we're good now. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I like feel a part of me like wants like that, you
Yeah,
know, like,
yeah,
and then
that
I'm afraid,
excitement.
but I don't want to be in a relationship to take over my life like that again. I don't want to do that. That's very scary for me.
You just have to learn a new type of partnership, because
Yeah.
in my first relationship, my first no, just my first two
All
very
my
serious
relationships.
relationships
Four.
were incredibly toxic, with toxic people that I feel like the first one really preyed on me. He knew that I was small and insecure. And damn, I just went somewhere in my head. What were we talking about? I went.
She's like in the
I
files,
was
y'all.
bro.
She's like-
the files are unpacking. I was like, damn. I'm like one dumb bitch.
like,
You had to
all
learn
of
from
us,
it.
bitch.
Yeah,
You're not
you know,
alone. All of us.
We all had.
We're
to go
all
through
done.
Hit
it.
a like because you too, ho.
she just called out our entire audience.
Oh my god.
Mood.
I mean, but I think we get taught that toxicity. We get taught
Yes.
this means I love you.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was taught that on repeat. In friendships, in relationships. I don't know if I personally had something that attracted toxic people to me because they knew that I was sensitive and they could get something out of me. It's like they stole my energy and my passion. I don't know if that was just, if it's me, or if life was like, I'm going to give you all of these lessons to give you depth,
True.
to give you understanding.
Yeah.
And I try to just take it as the second. But now as an adult, I get into this relationship with this amazing man, and I tried to turn it into that toxicity that I knew.
I feel that.
I tried because it was what I knew. I was
I
like,
feel
this
that.
is how I love. This is how I love. And he was like, don't do that. I love you. And I was like, what do you mean? This is how we I mean, like, not verbally, but
Yeah.
that's almost what the
Yes.
exchange was.
There's no problems here. What are you doing?
Yeah. And so I kind of was like, well, I love him. These dates are amazing. I have great conversation with him. And then I sat back and I learned how to love as a partner and how to be in love with it as a partnership, and having a companion that is my best friend that lifts me up. He fulfills me by letting me go off and do my own thing and, you know, be my authentic self and grow while he grows himself. But we inspire each other every day. And it's this new love that I never experienced. So I didn't know how to seek it.
Yeah.
And if things don't work out between us, I will always seek this exact type of relationship, because to me, it's like true love.
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah. That's
But-
beautiful.
But yeah, I only knew toxic love for many, many
Me
years.
too.
And I think there's multiple types of love.
Yeah.
And I think you have to find the right person to teach you how to love the way you want to be loved and the way that you can love someone else. But toxic love, that push and pull, that we hate each other, we fight and we get back together. Some people perceive that as
Yeah.
love, you
Yeah.
know, that we can have the worst argument and then make it through there. They
Yeah.
think that's love. And like, that happening every week is not love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's people who don't even know that a secure love and a love that doesn't fight and a love that just like talks exist.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like to them, it's like, girl, you can probably hear some of the things out. Like I'm sure people have slid into you guys' DMs like, I need help. I have no one else to turn to. And they say like, I'm in this relationship where he's doing this, and that, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's so clear from the outside what to do. It's
but
like
when you're in it,
yeah.
when you're in it, it doesn't make sense to you, you know? And
Yeah.
it was so beautiful when you touched on like, I was in all these toxic relationships and this person came to fix it. Now, I think, I think that all of us, like, because we don't want to give the message of like, oh, you have to wait for someone to come and fix it.
Yeah.
I think we can say you should seek out that relationship that is pure. And if you find something that is not that, you should leave that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't wait until it gets so bad where you're like, I don't know what to do anymore. I can't breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you even being aware of like, I don't want to go back into a point where I'm like push, pull, hot, cold. He loves me. He doesn't love me.
Yeah,
he texts
I
me.
don't.
You don't want that. So as soon as you start to see those signs, you're like, you know what? Bye.
Yeah.
No
I need
matter-
to trust
Yeah.
myself that I won't. fall back
Yeah,
into
because
that.
you've
Yeah.
made that
True.
mistake before and you know better now.
Yeah.
You will settle for what you think you deserve.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and then what you're saying too, Stacey, where you're like, oh, well, you know, you have to know in yourself that you can go out there and seek that. Like, I don't know, I've recently been really like opening my eyes to the whole idea of like it all starts from within. Like if you literally learn how to love yourself and have a relationship with yourself and create that happiness with yourself, you won't be so dependent on placing that responsibility on outside forces, and
Yeah.
which will literally make you depressed because no one's ever going to fulfill that the way you need it to be fulfilled, because you're going to fulfill that within yourself.
Yes, bitch. Yes.
Yeah. Stacey the hype man.
Oh my god!
I feel it.
It's like she's talking like she's in church, but it's always go ahead, ho, go off, bitch. Like, get you a Stacey. When Stacey walked into the shoot today, I said, Stacey, bless me, girl.
Because I just
Yeah.
feel so happy that to be surrounded by women who understand that. And I'm so grateful that people have that. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't grow up with women like you guys. Like, I didn't grow up watching this stuff. I had to go through so much shit to learn
Yeah.
these things. I had to pay for therapy to learn these things. Y'all get this shit for free. Like, you know, that's dope.
We get it
Yeah.
from you, Stacey.
Oh,
Aw.
thank you.
Everyone can learn from Stacey D. You should go to her channel and listen to all
Oh,
her
Yeah.
little
thank you guys.
Or what is that? Meat and Cheese Man?
Meat,
or
cheesy,
something?
cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't shot in a while, but I be talking the same shit on my
Yeah.
channel. I just think it's really cool because even from when I first met you, Tiff, you've come such a long way. Like, it
Thanks.
even shows in your face, you know? So to hear you talk like this, yeah, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, because I'm so proud of you, you know?
Aw.
And it's crazy because you see people and you, like, I see you and I'm like, ooh, girl, you're like just in the middle. Like, you're going to keep pushing, watch. Like, 2020, be careful, y'all. Like, we don't know what's
A
coming.
Tiff-a-sance is coming.
Yeah,
Oh my
like,
God.
I'm scared.
Tiff-a-sance.
Tiff 5.0. Yeah, Stacey talks to me. Look, the first time I met Stacey, I was like, Mom, I feel like in about a year, she's going to be handing me my 1 year token. I don't know what for what, but like, she's like, good job, Rose. You've come so far. I'm like, thank you so much, Stacey.
The bad bitch token.
Yeah, filling up my cart with my Apodaca jewelry.
Yes, girl, I'm pouring it all. Look at this, all of it.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that's one point too. Like I think a lot of girls, maybe like in your high school, if everyone kind of acts the same and you don't have like smart people around you, it's like if everyone's
emotionally
doing the
smart.
whole like, oh, we're gonna break up and get back together and it's wild and crazy,
You know
but this
what's
is just what
crazy?
we do. Like if you're in like a small town kind of thing, you
Yeah.
never like, you don't have any good role models, like you're gonna kind of start doing what everyone else is doing.
And you know what's crazy? Because that just like sparked
Yeah.
a memory in
The
my mind.
files have opened.
Yeah, it has
Scary.
opened. It's crazy because I remember in my friend group, I was like the last girl to get a boyfriend or to like ever just even have my first kiss. Like I was like the last
Same.
one in my friend group. And I remember seeing like some of my closest friends and they would have these boyfriends and I'd be sleeping over their house and they're talking to their boyfriends and they're fighting. Tell me why little Tiff
You wanted it?
wanted that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Like I wanted that for some reason and I felt like that's what made me feel important or like,
Yeah.
I have
oh,
a theory. It's
what
the
is it?
novelas, bitch.
oh my God, it is the novelas. Because
Because we grew up
literally,
watching
yeah, we
novelas.
grew up watching
Soap
just
operas.
drama.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, she fainted. She's pregnant.
Yeah,
Like, it's
me
like-
at 7, fainting.
That's so true, Stacey. Damn, that's what it is. Because I really did feel like, oh my God, they have some drama
Yeah.
going on. Like,
Dead.
ooh, tell me the cheese man. I want to be part of that too. Like, I want to have a boyfriend to be like, oh my God, he's breaking my heart again. Like,
Yeah.
what? Oh my God, it's so funny.
I think it's also it can be misconstrued as passion because there's
Yeah.
such an intense feeling.
Yes.
And you just feel that maybe it's anger, maybe it's sadness, but either way, it's an intense feeling.
It's a feeling,
and
period.
we love that because I mean, like, think about it. You go day to day when you're just say you're at work at your 9 to 5. If nobody's bothering you, if shit's just going, you literally almost don't really feel anything
monotone.
for hours and hours and hours. But then when you have this person that gives you something, whether it's a high or a low,
Yeah.
it's kind of it's a little addictive.
Yep.
You know, I kept thinking right now as you were talking, and I like, so I only had examples of if someone's giving you attention, it's because it's negative attention. Those are the only examples that I was exposed to. Like even in relationships within my family, like I said, with my friends and stuff, and even like my own parents. Like I never actually witnessed like a healthy, loving relationship that where like two people actually respected each other and like like the novelas, that didn't exist.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason why. And like at home, like I didn't really receive a lot of attention. So I was like, well, maybe I could get attention in a toxic relationship. Like that's maybe where I'm gonna find it. So yeah, I don't know. Like that young Tiff was really twisted, but I don't blame her. It wasn't her fault.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I noticed, I was watching this show and God, I've been trying to think of the name of it, but I can't remember it. But the show goes through this relationship and you really start to fall in love with this couple, right? So you get so invested over the series in this couple and then you start to see them break up, like things go bad and everything. Like, are they going to get back together? Are they not? And the whole time I'm just thinking like from the outside, I can see this story of this relationship and it's like, oh, if only they just did this different, or if only like this thing just happened and they could fix it. And like I wanted so badly for the characters in this story to get back together because I'm like, look at where this started and then where it is now. There was just a couple wrong turns. Like you guys can fix it. And I'm wondering if a lot of people are thinking like, oh, this really isn't a toxic relationship. There's really nothing bad. Like we could just fix it. Like I don't want to be a failure.
Like about
I,
you and Joe?
no.
Oh, period. Everyone.
Yeah. I'm not even thinking about him, girl. I'm just but just like watching this show made me think like for
Is
a
it
lot
This
of
Is
people.
Us or something? Was it that one?
No, it's
Oh.
something else. It's just like a guy and a girl. Like that's kind of like the whole storyline. But I'm just thinking like I wonder if a lot of people really just try to get back because they're just thinking
There's
so much about
nothing
the
wrong.
beginning, and
True.
they're like, oh, I just made this one mistake here, this one mistake there. But how all of a sudden did we get from this beautiful, loving relationship to this distant relationship? Like, let's get back together because we were here at one point. Like we can do it again. But it's like. Are there circumstances where like they had this loving relationship and they just grew distant, but maybe they should get back together and maybe they can make it like it was in the beginning? Like I'm just still trying to hash out for anyone. Is there any?
I think.
Is there any reason to keep it going?
I
You know?
think so. Something I read one time, I think it was like a Tumblr quote or something like that, but it was like dating is basically getting to know one another until you both have enough of each other, until you find something that you're like, yeah, no more, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like you keep finding negative things until you're like, okay, that's the one thing that I can't deal with. But I think when you like, you even saying these things, like a lot of times when we break up with someone, and it's like for a fact, we only remember the good stuff. We romanticize the idea of our exes. We forget the bad things about them. We forget the toxicity. We forget, you know, the little things. So it's very important that when you're in that stage of like, oh, I miss him so much, like he was so great, he really was the only one for me. There are so many people in this world. You don't know everyone.
Yeah.
And to me, it's always been like, why am I going to go with someone who I already know and know their faults when I can find someone 100% new? Like if you didn't like this or that about this person, you can find someone who has so many different things than the last person. You know, like to me, I always saw dating as something fun. Like I can go out there, I can find a fine ass dude, I can do whatever the hell I want. It doesn't even have to be emotionally attached, or I can emotionally attach myself to this other person. Like I often think we see being single as something negative. Like I'm lacking my love. When in reality, you can see it as like, I'm kind of like job interviewing a bunch of different people, and I get to pick whoever I want. Like I no longer wait for someone to pick me. I get to pick someone new. Like there's so many times like, yeah, it sucks, but instead of looking at it from the point of like, oh, I got broken up with, now I don't have anyone, you can look at it as like, well, now I can go out there and find what I want, what I really want.
Yeah, I think that's definitely where I'm at right now for sure. Like I'm excited to think like, oh, I don't have to wait for someone to like me, because like in this in-between moment now, for the first time in my life, I have other stuff to focus on. Like I have like my friend group now. I have this kind of like business that we're working on, and I'm not like, oh, I have to fill my time with a guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I don't even have time for that right now, like at all. So, and then when I do, I'm going to be real picky. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking like, if there's those kind of love stories where it's like everything was kind of beautiful and not toxic and not terrible, but like something got in the way, their master's program was in another state, or, you know, this and that. And then it's kind of like they just grew distant. But is there ever a case where people should get back together and should try to make it work for the long term?
I think it's like, well, we've covered like abusive relationships, toxicity. We've covered, I think for you and Joe, it was like we've exhausted everything, and we realized that we are not compatible.
Yeah.
Even though there was some passion. But then I think there's also right person, wrong time.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the few exceptions. And I've seen it with other people, but I haven't experienced it myself. It could be you guys are incredibly compatible, but the guy is looking at other women and he doesn't realize how valuable you are. And
is that really the right person, wrong time?
I mean, I don't know.
I
That's
guess
my first
maturity wise, maybe.
Yeah,
or
probably.
maybe focuses on his career so much and doesn't realize how much, you know, this woman means to him. I've seen that happen. And guys can make mistakes too, I think. Or women, you know, vice versa. That's the only real thing I can think of. I mean, do you guys can you guys think of a scenario where like, yeah, get back with them?
I just think that like if you're young, there's so many other people you can date. Like unless you're old already, and no, and I mean like
Yikes.
40s, 50s.
You have no options in your 40s.
40s is old.
You might as well
Damn.
be dead.
My mom just started, and that's the thing. Okay, right. So my mom got a divorce 17 years ago, and she just met this man who, like, we met her kids. We met him, and he's so funny. And like, I don't know. Yeah, he could be a piece of shit for all I know, but he's so funny, and like, I like him, and I see my mom excited. So if I'm like, my mom, who was so in love with my dad and was so heartbroken when they broke up, can find love and be over here like holding hands and being cute and going on dates, what the fuck is stopping people our age?
You know what's so funny to me is like every time I was younger and like I saw like people get divorced or whatever, and like I thought about dating when I'm older, I'm like, when I'm 40, am I really going to find that 45-year-old man attractive? Like, that's scary to me. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to find this old man attractive. I have
now you're 30 looking
I have
like
to hang on to the one I have now. But yeah, no, dude, I see like guys in their 40s and I'm like, hell yeah, he's hot.
Yeah.
So like, it's
mean,
weird. Like you kind of get used to these men getting older as you're getting older too.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I had that weird thing where I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to date someone when they're 40 because they're going to be so ugly.
Yeah.
You know, when I was younger, you know?
No, that's a good point.
But yeah, so I don't know. I just didn't know if there was like, because not everyone knows how to love. So
Yeah.
there might be certain circumstances where you just kind of didn't put the work into your love, and neither of you were really toxic, but you didn't quite know how to like make the relationship work. But time goes by, maybe you break up, 6 months go by, and you're kind of like, you know what, we just didn't try.
Yeah.
We didn't do everything we were supposed to do. We didn't speak each other's love languages, or we just
Yeah.
didn't put enough time in. And,
Yeah.
and maybe that's one of the very few cases where
Yeah.
it's worth getting back with your ex.
Yeah.
But like, if all of your friends are kind of like,
He's a piece
yeah,
of shit.
that's no, yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah.
If all of your friends were like, yeah, he was cool. I mean, I don't know what really happened with you guys. Like, then maybe that's a sign you could think about it. But if all of your friends are like, girl, no,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
yeah.
you definitely need to listen
yeah.
to the
Talk
signs.
to the
Yeah.
friends.
True.
The friends
Yeah.
know, because oh my god. And like, if I have a friend that's in a bad relationship, or if she's the problem, like, your friends will tell you.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
straight up will. And sometimes there's times where you are not ready for it. And I had a relationship like that where the guy was great. He was actually really great, and I wasn't good to him.
Same.
And it could have been what people taught us in other relationships. Like, at
Yeah.
that point, I had been slapped.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all that shit, you know, like, and I feel like I thought that love was just, I felt like love was not, it wasn't real, you
Yeah.
know? And this guy really, really loved me, and I feel like I also didn't deserve his love because
Yeah.
it was so genuine that I think I also destroyed it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Dude, yo, what the fuck? The files are open, bro.
Yeah.
The files are
man.
open.
Don't start crying. Don't
Yeah.
start crying.
I think just one last thought to me is, if you feel like you can give it another chance and you want to give that person another chance, then do it. You're going to go until you see that one last thing where you're like, fuck no, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And if there is anyone who made it work, comment down below, because I would love to hear your story, because I'm not a believer of getting back with exes, but I would love to be proved wrong, because I am a believer of love. So I would love to hear
There's
some.
a lot of stories like on Reddit and stuff. They're like, well, we broke up and we got back together like a year later, 2 years later,
it's
5
great.
years later, and now they're married and have kids and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, it's definitely not impossible.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
this, you like, if you're considering that, you just need to consider what your situation is. What are these circumstances? Like, are they healthy? Are they looking like they're going in the right direction? And if you kind of know it's really not healthy, it's
Be
really
true
not
to
going in the right,
yourself.
yeah, like, do you really want to make it worse, make your shame and your regret and everything worse? Like how much more are you willing to put up with? Just consider it. Take some time, take a breather
Yeah.
before you jump right back in.
That's true.
But yeah, but I guess that is our episode for today.
Yeah.
We just went on a roller coaster, huh?
We
Yeah, we did.
Me, is it hot
Someone
in here?
someone
Shit.
cried. That means it was a great episode.
yeah.
But we want to give a final shout out to our sponsors. Make sure you go to thirdlove.com/BTCH for 15% off your first order. Also, for 50% off your first Care Of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code
BTCH50.
Also, get $100 off your first month of Talkspace by using code BTCH at Talkspace.com. And finally, Candid. Go to candidco.com/BTCH and use code BTCH for $75 off. Fix your smile.
Yeah. Thanks for
All right.
listening.
Thanks,
and watching.
everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.